In the days leading up to the Canadian Grand Prix, the headlines still continue to be the contact between the Lotus drivers of Romain Grosjean and Josh Tiro from the previous race at Monaco. And following straight after the race, there were many heated discussions behind closed doors all the way leading up until the Canadian Grand Prix here. But everyone was in conclusion that something had to be done and something had to change. It was then decided that one of the drivers was to be replaced, which then brought another whole host of heated arguments. And it was decided that Romain Grosjean was the driver to be replaced due to him causing the incident between Josh Tiro and himself, also due to Grosjean's poor performances throughout the other races of this season. This in turn brought a load of legal issues as Romain Grosjean was contracted to race the rest of the season. However, most of these issues have now been resolved, and I left everyone all questioning who was to be Grosjean's replacement driver to partner the Lotus #1 driver of Josh Tiro for the rest of the season. After a few more short discussions later on, it was no hard decision that the new Lotus driver was to be Carmen Jorda. The Lotus third driver now steps up to partner Josh Tiro for the rest of the season, and following the 3 practice sessions, she looks evenly matched to the young Brit. Carmen Jorda wasn't the only driver making their F1 debut at this weekend. Following the events and the crash between Grosjean and Massa was out injured for the rest of the season, and Stoffel Van Dorn, the McLaren third driver, was to take his place up until the Brazilian Grand Prix, where Massa will compete in his final Grand Prix of the season and his final Grand Prix in Formula 1. Also following the crash, Nico Rosberg sustained minor injuries. However, he has chosen to race in this weekend to keep his championship hopes alive. However, he's not completely up to speed in his Mercedes. Also, Marcus Ericsson had a rather unique issue where his front brakes was completely locked at turn 3 during FP2. Taking a look at the qualifying grid for Canadian Grand Prix, and Bottas will take his second pole in a row, Sebastian Vettel starting second and Lewis Hamilton in third, with Jenson Button, the leader of the Williams, in 4th. Sebastian Buemi lines up 5th in the other Williams, with Danny Ricciardo having a much better qualifying this weekend to line up in 6th, with Nico Rosberg struggling down in 7th, with John-Eric Verne in the other Red Bull in 8th. Sergio Perez once again will start from 9th, with Nico Hülkenberg in 10th. Carmen Jorda on her F1 debut qualifies 11th, with Max Verstappen, the leader of the Toro Rossos, in 12th. Josh Tiro starts just outside the points positions in 13th, with the second Toro Rosso Daniel Kvyat in 14th, with the Saubers of Marcus Ericsson in 15th and Adrian Sutil 16th. Fernando Alonso outqualifies Stoffel Van Dorn in his debut to line up 17th, with Van Dorn 18th, Will Stevens 19th, and Alex Rossi completes the grid. So as you've seen there, all is not well at Lotus in its current state. Hopefully me and Jorda can bring in some good points and put a smile on teams' faces and try and distract them all from the current legal issues.
Okay, you really need to be up in your qualifying pace so we can get better chance of getting better points.
Right, so and away we go. We actually get a pretty average start. Now we've got being challenged by Daniel Kvyat behind. Now we're going to try and dive it on the inside of Max Verstappen coming to turn 1. Get very tentative, and now we're going side by side with Daniel Kvyat for 13th position. Now look, Kvyat's got us on the inside line. Now we can try and hold it around the outside, are we? Kvyat looks may have got us. Now I'm going to brake late. I'll try and hold it around the outside of Kvyat, force him, squeeze him onto the curb. Now we move up back into 13th position. Now we get a great run on Max Verstappen, just hold it around the outside line. I'm going to dive up the side of Verstappen and maybe even Jorda as well. Try and hold it up the inside Jorda, maybe inside the side of Perez as well. Now just run out a bit wide, a bit offline, hit the wall slightly, but thankfully get no damage. And now Carmen Jorda moves back past us to retake 11th position. Now we're demoted back down to 12th. Now we run a bit wide. I don't really know how Carmen Jorda, we don't really know her racecraft yet. Obviously this is her first race and she's only done about 5 corners that we've been behind her. Now take it a bit easy so far, learn how she races before we try and make our move to try and take 11th position away from her in her F1 debut. Now coming down straight, you can just see how much Carmen Jorda is pulling away, so she must have a really low drag setup at this race. You just see her streaking away down the straight. We can keep her a bit closer through the corners, so we seem to be running a bit more downforce than Carmen Jorda. Now coming midway through lap 2, it took us this one to actually catch back up to the back of Carmen Jorda. Now coming to the hairpin, Try and make a very late decision to dive up the inside of Carmen Jordan. I'm going to go too wide around the hairpin. Looks like he may have moved up in 11th position, but now Carmen Jordan on the racing line just has the better line, forces onto the grass slightly. She's getting her elbows out. Of course, she's showing, even though we are now apparently the lowest number 1 driver, she's not afraid to try and race us, which is all what I want to see from my teammate. Now try and coming around to the hairpin, the chicane even. Now go a bit over the curve to try and give Carmen Jordan enough room to get around the corner. Of course, we don't want another incident like we had with Grosjean back at Monaco. Now into 11th. Now try and chase down Sergio Perez and his teammate Hulkenberg, and try and move into the top 10. Now to try and catch up to Sergio Perez first. They've seen as Force Indias how fast they are in a straight line. They seem to be lacking a bit on the downforce heavy tracks, so it might be a track that suits them. Now coming on to the end of lap 3, they're trying to go too wide through the final chicane and slow each other down so much. Now we're going side by side with Nico Hulkenberg to try and take 10th position. This is our fast lap of the Grand Prix. Now we do manage to overtake Nico Hulkenberg and move to 10th position. And now hopefully we try and chase down Nico Hulkenberg's teammate Sergio Perez to try and take 9th position. Hopefully Carmen Jordan can try and follow us through as well. Try and gain these positions. As the drivers behind, we'll try and focusing on us and not looking, hopefully Carmen Jordan behind. Now looking at the battle up front, here comes Sebastian Vettel coming up the inside of Valtteri Bottas for the lead of the Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel's going to take the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, but has he done it at the wrong moment? Because showing how Bottas is going to have DRS to come back at Sebastian Vettel down the back straight, and of course coming down the pit straight as well. So Vettel locked up slightly, under pressure maybe from Valtteri Bottas. It looks like Vettel's already pulling away, but is it enough to keep him ahead of the DRS of that Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas? Bottas is already way behind now, he's falling further and further behind, even with DRS. He just can't seem to catch the Mercedes, the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. The Mercedes just isn't fast enough, there's too much drag, too much downforce on it. Now coming back to us, going up the inside now of Sergio Perez to try and take 9th position. We've easily got that coming up even before the final chicane. We move now into 9th position. Now we can try and chase down the Red Bulls of Jean-Eric Vergne and Daniel Ricciardo up in front to try and move into the top 7. See, they're really not that much further in front.
We're arriving at about around lap 12, I think. Let's just keep to plan out.
So it seems like rain is coming. It's starting to get a bit darker. We're keen to plan A, so still coming onto the soft tyres when we come in for our pit stop. Now trying to finally cut up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo, who's actually now been overtaken by his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne. I don't know if you saw this in front. You got Nico Rosberg stuck behind both of the BMW Williams. Now we've got looking up front at the 2 Red Bulls, but Daniel Ricciardo looks to move to the inside of his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne coming into the final chicane. Now they're both corner caught each of the chicanes, they slow each other down, hamper each other so much. Now we're going to make a double overtake. Are we now going side by side with the lead Red Bull? Now we pass both of the Red Bulls. Now moving to 7th position. I imagine Christian Horner is not going to be happy whatsoever about that move. Now coming on to the end of that lap, we're actually coming now for our pit stop onto a set of the soft tyres to take us either to the end of the race or until we have to change onto the intermediates. Because Lotus pit box is a long way down here. Changing now onto the soft tyres. I actually managed to get out in front of the Red Bulls. I think they may have been held for a few cars coming in. Now we're going to come out. Whereabouts we're going to come out? Hopefully some clean air. There doesn't look to be any cars coming down. Of course we cut out the first corner. So we're going to come out in P11 right behind Nico Rosberg. So I imagine Rosberg is going to pull away from us. And now we're just going to have some clean air, finally putting some good laps. Try and get an undercut on the other Red Bull of Jean-Eric Vergne. And now coming up to his second sector. Now Rosberg actually locks up. Rosberg's run wide. Is Rosberg struggling? Maybe those injuries. Maybe he isn't really fit enough to race. And now great camera shot there from the rear diffuser of Nico Rosberg. Now going side by side with the defending world champion. Trying to look outside, but Rosberg outbraced himself. He hit us. Rosberg's hit us. And now we get an illegal overtake because he forced over track. We just went straight on. So now we have to slow down, let Rosberg get past. And now Daniel Ricciardo looks to make it 3 wide coming into the hairpin. Rosberg locks up once again. Now Daniel Ricciardo's managed to overtake us. Now we're going side by side with Rosberg. Now I think we're going to manage to clear him. Coming up towards DRS, and yeah, now we've now cleared Nico Rosberg. Now coming on to lap 11. The rain is now falling, I think. Now it took us this long to actually catch back up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Now try and gaining in the DRS zone. We're also trying to use this Mercedes power to our advantage. Try and catch the Red Bull and retake 7th position. But now Nico Hulkenberg's moved up into 9th. It was a good race to the Force Indias. They haven't had many good races this season. I think that some well-needed points is what they need to get the season back on track. Now looking to the inside now of Daniel Ricciardo coming to turn 1, two-wheeled on the grass, almost making like the Jos Verstappen-esque move as he did in his arrows back in the early 2000s. Now looking back at Nico Rosberg, he's dropping farther down now. He's got behind one of the Toro Rossos. That's got the other Toro Rosso going past him. He's got one of the Saubers looking very, very aggressive behind him, looking to the left, looking to the right. It's still stood behind Nico Rosberg for the time being. And Nico Rosberg is just dropping like flies, dropping like a fly out of this race, out of the points. Now coming on to lap 7, trying to catch up with Jean-Eric Verne behind us. Now coming through, actually make it hop over the curve slightly there. We're trying to gain as much time as we can on the Red Bull behind us before we make our pit stop onto a set of the intermediate tyres. Look around the hairpin. Starting to lose a lot of grip now, so it's not going to be long, I think, until it's time for the intermediate tyres. We're just losing quite a lot of time now, but I still don't think it's quite time to pit for Inters yet. And now we've got Daniel Ricciardo still right behind us, trying to keep with us in the DRS zone. I think we just got enough trailing speed in this Mercedes power unit in the back of this Lotus to keep it in 7th position for the time being. We're still not really making much gains on Jean-Eric Verne. Now looking back at Nico Rosberg, he's dropped way behind now. You're going to make his contact with Stoffel Vandoorne. Stoffel Vandoorne almost half spins. Now we've got a teammate, Carmen Jordi, behind. One of the Saubers as well. Another McLaren, Fernando Alonso, of course, scored the podium last time out back in Monaco. Now they're going to go 3 wide into the hairpin. Rosberg also once again. There's contact. There's contact. Vandoorne and Jordi are into the wall. This is not the debut they would have wanted.
Box this lap for Inters. Box this lap.
So it looks like now it is finally time to come in for the set of the intermediate tyres, as I've actually started to catch up now to the back of Jean-Eric Verne in his Red Bull. But now looking to these wet conditions, you'd think now would favour the Red Bull and possibly even the Mercedes, given their downforce heavy design of their car for this season. Now gaining, you see our tyres there on the indicator are completely blue, so it's definitely time for set of the intermediates now. No way we could stay out for 4 laps. Now gaining, we've still got DRS surprisingly. Now we're going to power straight past the Red Bull of Jean-Eric Verne, as you know, even now as we come into the pits. So we make our stop onto a set of the intermediate tyres. Now the Red Bull's going to have to double stack behind. See, Jean-Eric Verne is just the leader of the Red Bull, so he will be able to stop perfectly fine, and Daniel Ricciardo's going to have to way behind. Now one of the Williams comes in as well. Now we're coming now for a set of the intermediates, and we've been held. Jean-Eric Verne's got back past us. Now, even though it's by plane now, we've got to try and re-overtake the Frenchman to take what is now 5th position, as DRS now finally gets disabled. Now P5 is up for grabs possibly if we can re-overtake Jean-Eric Verne. Now we've got Jenson Button behind us who has now jumped Daniel Ricciardo, of course, because he had to stack behind his teammate. See, so far coming out of the pits, Jean-Eric Verne is not pulling away that much. Now coming on to lap 16, gaining in the slopestream, of course, there's no DRS now, that's been disabled. Now going through the final chicane, and managed to get a great run and make a big contact with the wall there. Thankfully you don't get any damage. Now he's gaining in the slipstream on the back of Verne. Now coming into turn 1, trying to dive it up the inside of Jean-Eric Verne. Verne runs out wide, locks up slightly. And now once again we managed to overtake the Red Bull driver. We haven't taken the Red Bulls a lot this race. I think that's 4 overtakes now combined on the 2 of them. And now Buemi is long gone up the road, so I think now we need to try and consolidate this 5th position, try and pull away from Jean-Eric Verne.
It's your call whether you want to pit for full wets, as there's a big gap between you and Jean-Eric Verne.
Don't really know what race my engineer is watching, because it's not really a massive gap. But now we're going to stay out for the final lap on intermediate tyres, and now Verne's going to come in along with Button. They feel like they can't take it on the final lap, they don't want to risk it. They're going to pit for what should be a set of the full wets, and indeed that is Verne going on to full wets, and now Button has to get held behind, waiting for Verne to come out, and Ricciardo's dropped quite a bit behind. Now coming on to the end of the race, Sebastian Vettel stayed out on intermediate tyres as well, and Sebastian Vettel is going to win the Canadian Grand Prix, make it 5 wins out of 4 wins out of 7 races for Ferrari. For us it's going to be P5. So Logan's now going to in the final chicane. We're going way too fast, and we just decide to take through the skate roads to avoid the wall, avoid contact, and just make sure we come in P5. I should get a corner cut for that, but still we're 3 seconds ahead of Verne at least, so we're going to finish P5.
Great result that was, Josh. A bit risky at the end, but it paid off for us. Well done.
Taking a look now at the race results. And Sebastian Vettel would indeed hit the win for Ferrari. 5 seconds clear of Valtteri Bottas, as there wasn't just enough wet weather for Bottas to be able to capitalise with his downforce heavy Mercedes to try and catch back up to the seemingly lower drag Ferrari Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton completes the podium for Ferrari, 10 seconds behind his teammate, Sebastian Buemi in 4th. We come home quite a way behind him in 5th position, John-Eric Verne in 6th, Jenson Button in 7th, Hulkenberg in 8th, Daniel Ricciardo all the way down in 9th, so he got overtaken by Nico Hulkenberg on the final lap. Do we know what happened there? Because he wouldn't have had to double stack, because there was a definite gap between him and Ricciardo and Verne, so I don't really know what happened to Ricciardo there. Daniel Kvyat comes home in 10th, with Sutter in 11th, Sergio Perez getting back to scoring points after a long absence from the top 12 to take the final point for Force India. Max Verstappen just misses out points, coming home in 13th, Derrickson in 14th. Alonso, after the highs of last race, finishing on the podium, finished down in 15th, with Rosberg all the way down in 16th. Hopefully he'll be fit for the next race and finally get back to scoring points, get his championship back on track, try and take it to his teammate and 2 Ferraris. Will Stevens comes home in 17th, with Jordan on her debut finishing down in 18th, and Van Dorn on his debut in 19th. Alex Rossi finishes in 20th and last position. Taking a look now at the Drivers' Championship, and Lewis Hamilton now has a 12-point lead, back to Valtteri Bottas in 2nd, as Bottas would have closed by a few points in this race. Sebastian Vettel now catching up in 3rd, 17 points behind his teammate. Sebastian Buemi dropping off now in 4th, on 63 points. Nico Rosberg now 38 points off the championship lead in 5th, on 57 points. John-Eric Verne is in 6th, on 44 points, 1 point clear now of Jenson Button, who drops down to 7th. Daniel Ricciardo, 3 points behind Jenson Button, in 8th, on 40 points. Now we're only 5 points behind Ricciardo in 9th, on 35 points. Daniel Kvyat rounds off the top 10 for Toro Rosso, on 27 points, with Alonso in 11th on 25, and Nico Hulkenberg completes the top 12 on 18 points. Moving on to the constructors' standings, and Ferrari now have a 26 point lead back to Mercedes in 2nd, 166 points to 140. Williams are in 3rd on 106 points, now 60 points off the lead, so you'd think they're securing their 3rd position, and that's, guess what, well, they wanted top 3 for the season, and it looks like they're going to achieve that, as they're now 22 points clear of Red Bull in 4th. Toro Rosso in 5th, still enjoying their best season ever in Formula 1, but they're now only 2 points clear of Lotus in 6th. McLaren in 7th, now 10 points behind. Force India in 8th on 26 points. Sauber in 9th on 19 points. And Manor are still yet to score. So that's been the Canadian Grand Prix. So not as much action as back in Monaco. I don't think anything's going to top Monaco this season. So thanks for watching. And to leave a like if you enjoyed the race. Comment down below your thoughts on it, or anything. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all next time.